True fans live for their team. For those true U of A fans, there is Hughes Federal Credit Union. Show your U of A spirit and put technology and convenience at your fingertips. Hughes Federal Credit Union. Smart choice.
Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with Greg Hansen. Greg, I'm feeling a lot better this week, by the way. I apologize. I was uglier and sounded worse than usual a week ago, but I'm back feeling a lot better now. NFL draft starts Thursday night with the first round. We probably won't hear any familiar names until Friday at the earliest. That's when Scooby Wright and Blake Martinez, the U of A linebacker, and Stanford linebacker from CDO, are likely to be drafted somewhere in the third or fourth round. They're interesting guys. They play the same position, but that might be where the comparisons end.
Yeah, and haven't we been here before, too?
Yes.
Because if you look back at the U of A's signature players, Chuck Cecil, Teddy Bruschi, on down the line, weren't they Scooby Wright and Blake Martinez?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You talk about the one thing that they have in common, I think, is a almost obsession with hard work and winning.
Wow. And it made, you know, Cecil and Bruschi have made a living off of it, of that hard work and devotion. And now these two guys look like they're all football all the time, guys who could have a career after their playing days are over in football because they've just been so devoted to it.
Absolutely. In terms of what they can do on the field, Greg, is there a guy who you think has an edge, and is there an organization that might fit each guy a little bit differently? You
know, you think that the Patriots pluck the smart pick all the time, so they're going to go, well, we're going to use Scooby on first and second down. Right. Or we'll get Blake Martinez. He can play first, second, and third down for 10 years. So I think the smart teams will take these two guys. I'm not branding them as guys who can only play for smart teams like that, but you know, that's one way to make a living.
I look at the organizations and the franchises, Greg, and look at the places that will draft a guy based on what he can't do and can do, as opposed to what he can't. You know, to me, the Buffalo Bills jump out there. I mean, wouldn't you want to go play for Rex Ryan if you're a linebacker?
Yes.
And just pin your ears back and get after the ball.
No kidding.
To me, that makes a lot of sense. I think the Seahawks always do a really good job of that. Yeah. And I think that there are going to be some teams that are looking for the best available player. I mean, Scooby Wright has a resume that is pretty unimpeachable on draft day. I could see somebody like the Jaguars or the Titans. Or
anybody.
Somebody like that jumping up and saying, all right, kid, go play, as opposed to a good team like the Patriots saying, all right, kid, you're the third stringer, try to play.
The thing that intrigues me the most about this is what happens to them after they get in camp and how long their careers are, if they're not injured. Marcus Bell, who was probably one of the best U of A linebackers ever, was just like these two guys. He got drafted in the third round. He played 4 years and played well, contributed, started, but then he made too much money and he got released. Right,
and contrast that with somebody like Antonio Pierce, who was a good player, JC player, was at U of A for 1 year, did not have the impact that Marcus Bell had, I don't think, on the field, but played in the NFL for what, 10 years?
Yes,
11
10 years.
I mean, one of the few U of A draft picks over the course of time where you can sit there and go, he made enough money that he could retire at 40.
Yeah, now he's a high school football coach in Long Beach.
Right, at Poly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting. And I think that the one thing that unites the great players that we've seen come through Arizona or through Tucson is their desire to make football their life. And the ones who don't usually fizzle out by the end of training camp.
Oh, you can go back and see it from start to finish. Guys like John Fina played 12 years in the NFL. No one had him on a radar anywhere until Bill Belichick discovered him when he was the coach of the Cleveland Browns. That's right. John Fina was like a 210-pound basketball player at South Point. He was the forerunner to a Blake Martinez. That's right. Devoted himself to the game and improvement. Extremely smart guy. Made enough money, played in 3 Super Bowls that he doesn't have to worry about much.
Right. Even with KaDeem Carey, you know, he is a guy who we always heard covering the team that KaDeem Carey kind of put football in front of everything else in his life, that it mattered to him an awful lot, kind of despite the vibe you got talking to him sometimes that he was just your typical college kid. He made it his goal to get to the NFL. Now that he's there, it's taken a couple years, but he's going to get the biggest opportunity of his career starting this season with the Bears. He could open the season, in theory, as either their #1 running back or 1A with Langford.
And all of that, despite the fact that he doesn't run a fast 40.
Right.
So you've got to love it like he does to stay in it.
To stay in it. Yep, and you got to love it to learn all the nuances that will make you better than the guy who can run a fast 40.
Right, he's got that really working for him.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. For Greg Hansen, what's your 40 time?
Let's see, 40 inches or 40 yards? 40 inches now, I can still do it in 4 seconds.
I think they time me with a calendar. Yeah. So I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.
True fans live for their team. They buy the gear, they order the tickets, they pay for the seats and the experiences. For those true U of A fans, thankfully there is Hughes Federal Credit Union, offering the latest payment choices such as U of A debit cards, paying online, paying a friend with Pop Money, or using Apple Pay with your mobile phone. Show your U of A spirit and put technology and convenience at your fingertips. Hughes Federal Credit Union, smart choice.